Or do you have your mic unmuted?
Yeah, I do. I'm just waiting on him to actually get into the lobby before I start talking. I don't, until we get on the
Okay.
loading screen, I don't usually start talking at all.
Yeah, no, there was just awkward silence.
All right, folks, good evening and welcome to the Marina Bay Circuit here in Singapore. Here tonight we have got 20 drivers on this extremely tight and technical street course around the Marina Bay area. I'll pull up everything. Looks like we have Salted Helmet back for Alfa Romeo again. Or is he in the... I believe he is in the Alfa Romeo, yep. So, first car heading out onto the track there we have...
I believe it's one of the...
It is a Haas. It is a Haas, both the Haas's, followed by a Red Bull and a Williams. So we have Deer Hunter, the second car in line there. His teammate, I think that is Unknown Ute in the first of the Haas's, letting Deer Hunter go by. And then the Red Bull of Wyborn, followed by the Williams of Joe. These guys getting out there pretty early. Looks like we've also got one of the Ferraris possibly leaving pit lane. That is ARS Guido. I don't think Guido's actually made a start in this series yet, has he? I don't think he has.
I don't think that's a new name. Could be wrong.
He's a normal tier 3 driver, so I guess well, since we know DRC Jared's going to be intermittent in that Ferrari, so I guess he's the substitute for when he's not here. He's not a bad driver, maybe a little over aggressive at times, but he does have some speed to him.
Yeah, I can agree with you there.
So, Titan, who do you think is going to come out on top here on this very tight and technical circuit? Again, we are using realistic cars, so it does matter a little bit what car you're driving.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a flip of a coin between the two Red Bulls and Taylor playing here, just because the Red Bulls are extremely well handling around tight circuits like this, and Mercedes just being the more dominant car for obvious reasons. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Red Bulls are faster, but I just wouldn't count Taylor playing out at all.
Not at all. We're going to look here at Deer Hunter coming to start his lap, trying to dodge some traffic a little bit as he comes around the first few corners. It's a nice clean exit there off of turn 3. Got a yellow flag in sector 1 as some guys get out of the way of the guys on a fast lap. And then this is what makes this track incredibly challenging is, yes, it's a street course, but there are some seriously long straightaways here. Full on 8th gear over 180 miles an hour into sector 2. He's driving this Haas, which is a bit of a handful to begin with. Looks to be handling it quite well around here. I did some laps myself around this circuit in my own team's car in the Racing Point, and gotta say, definitely feels a lot more challenging than it did the last game, but that's an okay thing. Can't really say I like circuits that are overly easy, just because everybody gets really bunched up and it's really hard to pass anybody, mostly.
Yeah, I also did some laps in my team's car. Car definitely suffers with the updated Ferrari engine, but definitely feels a lot better than what I believe last game was. I wasn't really into realistic tier last year, so definitely don't know wide knowledge about how these cars handled last year.
All right, Deer Hunter with first lap of the session at a 1:37.5, followed by Wyborn with a 1:37.4. Track will improve as we go along. Joe in the Williams does a 1:37.7, and then the second Haas of Unknown Ute does a 1:38.5. So, starting to get some times on the board. Again, we do full qualifying here for the realistic tier in BRL. So, 3 sessions. First session, really just don't want to be in that bottom 5. We're going to take a look down here at Guido, who appears to have finished his lap and validated it. He did. And then looks like number 1 FinFan has done the same thing, and he is going to have to go for another run in the racing point.
Yeah, Zampa just had a purple sector 2 and coming nearing the final corner here. Looking really neat in the Ferrari.
Yeah, when you don't have a time on the board, that's not really that important because it's going to show you purple in every sector on the time on the track map. But he does go fastest of all at a 1:36.8, so it turns out that was not a fluke. That was, in fact, the fastest lap of the session so far, and by a handy 0.6 over VRF1 Wyborn. Nobody else has set a lap yet. Cage in the Renault, a new name here, coming up to finish his lap. He goes to P3 with a 1:37.4, so a very good lap from the Renault driver. And then we have, just behind him, ARS Zizou in the second racing point, starting his first flying lap. We'll see what he can do in a minute. We have Taylor Clan coming up to the end of the second sector, does a 1:02.4. I'm not so sure how that stacks up. Wyborn now improves to a 1:36.5 in the Red Bulls, so he picks up approximately about a second. And now New Zealand Ryan in the Alpha Tauri goes even quicker at a 1:35.6. So he goes almost a full second quicker than the Red Bull. What can Taylor do? Taylor is the championship leader, but not by much, I believe, over ABR Burraps, who sits in the pit lane at the moment. Taylor's going to go to the top with a 1:34.2, first man into the 34s. Ryan, incredible job with that Alpha Tauri. That car is not the best handling car out there, but it certainly is quick in a straight line.
Yeah, while Taylor Clan was finishing, Sainz went to P4, and the second Ferrari, which I will not attempt that name, went to P7. So, Ferrari's looking really strong here, surprisingly.
They are, but we've only got 11 lap times on the board right now. This is not one of the most power-dependent circuits, as you would imagine being a street circuit, so not as important to have a really strong engine, although it does really help down the straightaway where we see number 1 FinFan coming. He set a time on his second lap, good enough to go P5 just behind ARS Sainz and in front of Zampa. So you got to feel if you can get below a 36, you should feel pretty safe. Taylor Clan retiring from the session. I'm not sure why it's got him listed down in P15 there. All of a sudden, that's a little weird. Definitely a bit of a glitch on the timing screen there. As ARS,
the only way I think he's P15 is if he got dequalified.
Well, even then it would say disqualified, and he would be well out of the. He'd be blacked out on the screen. So let me just go look in the race director and see if it says just retired from session or if he got disqualified or what happened there, because that's just a little unusual.
Yeah, let's see here. It says nothing. So,
okay, so he probably manually retired from the session then.
Yeah. Oh no, it says DNF. So did he crash out? It doesn't say. It says
no.
Did not finish. So weird.
I'm asking him what happened there. Oh, looks like he did clip a wall. Looks like he did crash. So even if he does make it through, that is going to be his qualifying over.
Yep.
So an uncharacteristic mistake from the Mercedes driver leading this championship. However, that is going to give him an opportunity because currently let's be honest, there's no way that time's getting knocked out in this session. So he's going to start P15 at the worst.
Yeah, Brown moves up to P13 to put both AlphaTauris P1 and P2 in Q1.
Brown Threener's he's honestly an underrated driver. He's only about 0.3 off of New Zealand Ryan. His race pace is not as good. As ARS Zizou also retires from the session. Looks like he does so in the pit lane. Not as his manager, I'm not overly confident that time is safe, but we will see here in about 8.5, 9 minutes if I'm right or not. Looking to find somebody. Looks like Salted Helmet, the first guy who has not got a time on the board, is on an outlap. BRL Phantom, ABR Burraps, gas smoking. Coming up to the end of his lap here in the Williams. Let's see what he can do. He's going to head into the pit lane, actually. So both the Alpha, which I believe the Alphas are your cars, correct?
Yes, that is true.
Okay, so both the Alfa Romeos out on outlaps right now. Mean Fern invalidated his time, so he's going to have to go again.
The closest one to finish the lap is Phantom.
Yep, followed very closely by Burap, so we'll keep an eye on both these guys here for just a minute and see what they can do. Phantom he's about 2 seconds down on Taylor's time, which between the two of them, that's about a normal gap around here at that point. So I would imagine he's going to be somewhere right around the mid to high 36 or low 37 range, which currently would put him fairly safe. Both of the Williams and both of the Haas cars look to be right around that mid to high 37. Yeah, mid to high 37s. So if he can beat that, I think he'll be okay. Yep, he goes low 37s with a 37.343, just behind both the Ferraris. So that is a pretty good place for him. As somebody jumped up right there, I'm not sure who that was. That was Burap. So he jumps to the top of the board of the session of the cars still in it with a 135.4. So not the fastest time we have seen, with Taylor setting that 34.2 right out of the gate. But that is going to go to the top of the session in front of New Zealand Ryan. So both the Red Bulls looking very strong here in first and sixth, with the Alpha Tauris second and fourth. It's a good day to be owned by Dietrich Mateschitz, I guess. And number one FinFan out. He's out there on another lap. We're going to look down here at Salted Helmet. We're going to be very interested to see what he can do. Very quick driver, but not a very quick car.
Firm jumps up to P12, beating his teammate.
Indeed, just by about a 1/10 and a quarter. That's going to knock Joe and Unknown U into the danger zone. Meanwhile, let's shine a little light on a guy who's maybe not gotten as much positive news and press as he should have throughout this season. ARS Sainz in the second of the McLarens. Only his third race, I believe, in that car. And he is just doing a brilliant job. He's only about a second off of Boss Cookie, who's been in that car for most of the season. Not even that, actually, right now. He's 3/4 of a second down on him. But the guy is just doing a brilliant job. I don't think he scored points yet, but it's coming for him. He spent most of the season in the Williams so far, and it really...
So he's the Hulkenberg of the realistic tier here.
Pretty much. He's just kind of not gotten the praise he deserves. I think the guy's a fantastic driver, does a great job. Salted Helmet coming up to the line, does a 136.2 to put your car in P5. Let's see what his teammate can do. SF1 Rhodes right down here at the bottom of the order. He is coming through Sector 3 right now. What is he going to be able to do around this final corner? Keeps it nice and clean and on the track. Does a 139.4. That is not going to. That's the slowest time we have seen so far. That is not going to help him out at all. So you got one car in, and one car out at the moment. Meanwhile, Gas Smoking 22, the only man to not set a time so far, is coming up to the line behind one of the racing points. I believe that's Zaizu, and we got one of the Haas's spun around right there. That I believe is Deer Hunter.
Unknown.
That's unknown.
Unknown.
Yeah. Boss Cookie retires from the session from P3. He feels that lap's pretty safe. Got to agree with him at a 135.8. Unknown not having...
I'm pretty sure if you're in the top 10, you feel pretty safe about your time right now.
I would say, yeah, if you're in the top, maybe the top, like, 6, because it's only about 2/10 between 7th and 10th, so between both of my cars. But, yeah, I'd say if you're in the top 11, anybody under a 37, you're feeling pretty safe right now. And we're going to look here at Gas Smoking as he goes on this lap. Can he haul that Williams out of Q1? Doesn't look like it. He's not taking the best lines, and he's kind of locking up a lot, not carrying the speed he needs to. And actually looks like Zaizu has spun around, or that's actually FinFan has spun around. Zaizu's already retired from the session. I really don't. FinFan's on the same set of tires that he drove on earlier. New Zealand Ryan retires from the session from P2, feeling pretty safe there. I got to agree with that decision. No sense in wasting time being on the track when you know you're going to make it through.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're getting close to where everybody from probably P12 down is gonna all either come into the pits or just try to get that final run in.
Indeed. The guy, so currently it shows that Cage is on an outlap. He could jump Deer Hunter if he, and his teammate actually, if he picks up a little bit. Deer Hunter doing a pretty good job in that Haas at a 137.4 to be out of the drop zone. He could be the one man at the bottom. Well, actually no, because Salted Helmet's up there in P6. So we could have two of the bottom three cars out of Q1 here and surviving to the next session this week, unless Cage can pull a rabbit out of the hat. Brown Threener follows his teammates' example and retires from the session. So this is kind of the area we're focused on, folks. We're going to look at Cage as he has started that flying lap. We'll see what his delta time to his previous best is as he comes through the first sector split at the end of the longest straight of the track here. There's a Haas just up the road. I believe that is Deer Hunter. Actually, no, that is Unknown Ute, so he will have to get out of the way because he's on an outlap. Did not see Cage's split time right there, but this is looking like a pretty smooth lap so far.
Yeah, he's about a 10th up right now.
That's exactly what he needs to do. He just needs to maintain that. FinFan finally makes the wise decision, in my opinion, and retires from the session, as does Zampa just behind. So those guys feel that, kind of like what I'm thinking, if you can get below a 37, you should be pretty safe to get through to Q2. If you can get below a 37.4 right now, then you're in the zone. He sets the fastest sector 2, it looks like, of the session there, so that's promising for the Renault driver. Again, I didn't see exactly how much he was up. I just saw it was purple on the map, but that's doing pretty good if you're going purple in a Renault.
Yeah, 3/10 up.
Absolutely brilliant. So through the sector 2, 2/10 up, 1/10 up through the first sector, so he's going to be about a quarter of a second up right now. Rhodes calls it quits there. Looks like he has had possibly a coming off, or he's just retired in the pit lane. But looking at Cage here as he comes to the line, it's going to be a 36.9 to go to P12, so that is going to be good enough to probably lock him into the next session. And that's going to shove Deer Hunter out of the safe zone and put his teammate Meanfern on the bubble. The bubble right here is at P14 because Taylor has retired from the session with damage. So Taylor's going to start P15. He is not getting knocked out by any of these guys here in Q1, but he will not partake in Q2 because the car is damaged beyond repair for the day. Meanfern setting purple sector 2, running a little deep there. He is about a half second up, so looking to emulate what his teammate did. And that's going to really put the pressure on BRL Phantom. Deer Hunter could possibly beat him if he can pick up about a 1/10 of a second, and Phantom can improve. I don't think Phantom's got a whole lot left in that Mercedes compared to what his teammate had. About a
Phantom invalidates, so...
Oh, so that is Phantom done. So all Deer Hunter has to do is improve. Deer Hunter coming through the first sector split is a little bit up. We'll see what he can do through the second sector. Meanfern does not improve, so I'm not sure if he ran wide off that final corner or what, but he did not improve, so that's going to make Phantom feel a little safer. We're going to keep an eye on Deer Hunter right here.
Well, if you get to Deer Hunter's teammate, he's up by 6/10.
Yeah, but 6/10 is only going to put him into the 37s. It's not going to put him where he needs to be. Deer Hunter is just a little bit up. He needs to really have a good third sector here to get out of Q1 and throw Meanfern into the doldrums. Taking every inch of track that he can in that Haas. Unknown Ute does improve to a 37.5, but he does not get ahead of his teammate. So that is crucial for Deer Hunter. As he comes up to the final corner, what's it going to be as he rounds this very quick double left-hander using every bit of road and then some? He does it, gets up to P13, and that is going to knock Meanfern out in Q1. So the big name knocked out right here is the Renault of Meanfern. Starting P16. Aside from that, you have Unknown Ute, Joe F1, SF1 Rhodes, and Gas Smoking 22 all out in Q1. Taylor clan going to be starting from P15 with a damaged car, not able to partake in Q2. So that knocks out one of the big players at the front of this field from the outset here in qualifying. So that is going to open up a spot in Q3 for one of these guys who maybe otherwise wouldn't have got through there. So BRL Phantom retires from the session. And folks, that is going to be Q1 done and dusted.
Yeah, we almost had no Mercedes into Q2, which is definitely weird to see.
Absolutely, definitely not something we're used to seeing. ABR Burap's comfortably ahead of New Zealand Ryan. Boss Cookie ARS Guido improved to 4th there. Brown Threener in P5. Salted Helmet P6. ARS Zizou. ARS Science P7 and P8. BRF Wyborn in the 2nd. Red Bull in P9. And then number 1 Fin Fan. Not having the best of laps, but still getting through in P10 there. SSR Zampa, Cage, Deer Hunter, and Phantom will make up the last 4 cars in the next session, with Taylor retiring. See there, he's got a red bar next to his name, so he is out. Alrighty, folks, we're back for Q2 here at the Marina Bay Circuit for BRL Realistic tier. We're going to see who bites the bullet first here. This is where we're going to see the top 10 decide what tire they are going to start on. The go-to here is going to be the medium, because the soft does not hold up after a few laps around this circuit. That has been the case for many, many years. So it's going to be a fight between who wants that race strategy and who wants the track position to start the race. Looks like we got one of the Ferraris heading out already. That is going to be, I believe, ARS Guido. He is very much known for this, going out immediately, and he is on the soft tire, so he doesn't think he's got the pace to get through to Q3 on those medium tires, unless this is a dummy lap.
Who else is coming out?
It's like one of the Renaults. Looks like
Reynolds.
Cage. That is Cage.
And Phantom. Cage and Phantom.
So some of the guys we saw a little more towards the back in Q1, they are both also on the soft tire. A lot of these guys are probably going to wait and maybe do one run in the middle of the session on the medium tire. That would be ideal. Let these guys go out, knock the dust off of everything, and then go out on a slightly cleaned up track. Looks like we got Ryan actually going out quite early here in the Alpha Tauri, also on the soft tire. I would have thought they seem to have seen him go onto the medium tire. Boy,
yeah, definitely uncharacteristic of him, because he normally likes to wait till the end of the quality session to come out, if my memory serves me correct.
He is very much known in this tier for doing that and just waiting until the last minute to do that one lap slap to get up there out of the back of the elimination zone. So this is a little unusual. Maybe he doesn't quite feel that he can do it in one lap, and that he invalidates the out lap. That doesn't matter. But maybe he's just kind of wanting a little bit of insurance. Go out there, set that quick lap early, and then on the soft tire, I'm not totally sure how that strategy is going to work out for him, but we'll see very shortly. Looking up here at ARS Guido, he's going to be the first man to start that flying lap, trying to keep the tires nice and cool as he comes through Sector 3. Pretty easy to overheat the tires around here on that soft compound. Let me tell you, something about this... excuse me. Something about this track I absolutely hate is the pit exit. Just the most awkward, terrible pit exit I've ever seen in my life.
It's kind of hard not to argue with that. Or... Did I say that right? I agree.
Yeah, can't argue with that point. I don't care who you are. The pit lane exit at Singapore sucks. It's a complete 90-degree corner that you take at like 30 miles an hour, and if you miss it the slightest bit, you either A, break your wing against the inside wall, or B, slide off and get a penalty or a warning for going over the white line. There's literally almost no in between unless you just crawl through there. Guido getting a little sideways there as he comes through Sector 2. Looking on track for a pretty good lap right now.
Yeah. as you're talking about we do, Ryan invalidates his lap.
And that right there might be why he went out early. Very easy to do around this very long technical street circuit. If it were to rain here, lap times would be exceeding 2 minutes very easily. So as Guido comes up to finish his lap, first one of the session, it's a 1:36 dead, so that's a pretty decent lap. Gotta think you'll be wanting to do at least a 36 to get through on the soft. We'll see about the medium shortly here, as it looks like we have several cars out there. Boss Cookie, the first car on the medium, starting a lap actually. And then Cage goes P2 on the soft at a 1:36.5 on the soft tire. Yellow flag is just for the slower car of Burapps getting out of the way of somebody on a lap. So nothing going on there. BRL Phantom now goes to P3 with a 1:37.7, so that's not exactly what he needs to do to get out of the session. Probably will not see a Mercedes in Q3 at all this week.
Which can be sight for sore eyes for some fans and just heartbreaking for others.
Absolutely. So looking here, it looks like we're going to have VRF1 Wyborn go to a 35.7 as we see Salted Helmet break the wing as he comes off of the penultimate corner there. Still does a 36.9 in the Alfa Romeo on the medium, not doing too shabby there, but Wyborn did a 35.7, so a full 1.2 seconds quicker, which is all just down to the car, folks. So we're going to look back here at... Sorry, folks, I can't quit yawning, apparently. Need to stop that. Going to look here at ARS Sights, who is on the medium tire. It looks like he's going pretty well on that tire right now. Coming to the final corner as the Ferrari of Guido goes into the pits here. What is Sights going to be able to do? He jumps up to P3, so a good lap right there for the McLaren driver. What is his teammate going to be able to do, as his teammate has, I believe... Cookie's damaged the front wing, so he's going to have to take another crack at it. That's exactly what you don't want to do. Looking here at number one FinFan, he is on a flying lap in the Racing Point as Salt gets out of the way.
Yeah, he did have a purple sector 1.
Well, again, doesn't have a time on the board, so that doesn't really mean much. Coming down through the end of Sector 2, it's under 1:04. That's kind of the average of what we've been seeing. That's what Sights had. So he should be on track to be about P probably 3 or 4 with the current lap that he is on. We'll see what he can do through Sector 3. The Racing Point is a little bit of a quicker car, but we'll see what can happen here. I don't know what you told your guys, but I told him just to really take it easy and basically drive like a grandma. That's pretty much the duration of this race, and he does go in fact to P3, just a tenth ahead of ARS Sights and right behind ARS Guido. So I got to feel that is going to be a pretty good lap for him on that medium tire, obviously showing there's a good bit left in the tank for that Racing Point if he were to put on the soft tire. Looking down now at ABR Burapps on his second lap on these tires, I believe. I believe he invalidated the first one. I could be wrong. This could be the first lap he's on. Coming up to the final corner, car runs out of ERS, doesn't really matter, coming up to the line, and he is going to go to the top of the board just in front of his teammate with a 1:35.2, so about a half second quicker than his teammate, and that was the second lap he did on those tires. So that's not something you really want to do on the race tire that you're going to start with. But currently Red Bull's 1 and 2 in the session, probably going to see that be maintained. Deer Hunter and Zizou out on a lap right now. Deer Hunter making it out of Q1. Good job to him for doing exactly that. Where is he going to end up with this lap? It's a 1:37.4, so he gets in front of Phantom. That's going to be huge for him.
As Zizou invalidates.
Unfortunate for the Racing Point driver. He will probably dive back into the pit lane, or he may be geared up for 2 laps. I don't know. I don't know what kind of fuel load he is running. Didn't really have a chance to talk with him too much before the race, but he's a very competent, capable driver, so he knows exactly what he's doing. Big thing that Big thing that I told them is just keep it out of the wall and let it come to you, because everybody's going to start fighting with each other, going to get penalties, start bouncing off the wall, and start breaking things.
Yeah,
Looks
this
like he is going to go, and he is going to go for that second lap here, so having to take another bite at the cherry to get that lap. Teammate number 1 FinFan also doing the exact same. I'm not really sure why FinFan is out there running another lap on his race start tires, or what appear to be his race start tires. That doesn't seem like a very smart move, considering it doesn't really seem like anybody behind him is going to improve on that medium tire. I kind of told FinFan, if you get knocked out in Q2, you get knocked out in Q2 on this. So I'm not really sure why we're seeing him on another flying lap, as Zizou looks like he has got problems again. He backs out of the lap. Same Boss Cookie out again on the medium tire. Looking to set a lap time. Does not have one on the board so far due to the fact that he invalidated. And seeing SSR Zampa come out of the pit lane in the Ferrari. I know this will be a welcome sight to Chandler's eyes to see both of the red cars into Q3 to start the weekend off. We'll see how that pans out here very shortly for them. Ever since the performance update not had the best of luck. And Boss Cookie invalidates the lap, so hopefully he's gassed up for 2 laps here. Doesn't look like it, though, so he is going to have to dive back in and make one last-ditch effort. Otherwise, we may see him eliminated without a time. That would not be good for the McLaren driver. Currently P3 in the championship, and looking currently very much in the danger zone right now. As is SSR Zampa, ARS Zizou, and New Zealand Ryan. Ryan probably going to have to go out and do his usual one-lap slap, or maybe he might have purposefully done a dummy right there. He may end up qualifying on the medium for all I know. It's certainly possible, and it would not be out of character for him.
Yeah, Ryan just likes playing with everybody's emotions here.
He really does. Number 1 FinFan improves to a 136.0 on that medium tire, but he put an extra couple of laps on him doing so. So we'll see how that works out for him come the race, but does pick up a couple of, about 4/10, or 3/10 roughly. So that could be the difference if things start to pick up towards the end here, but still a very good lap from the Racing Point driver.
Yeah, he should feel very comfortable with that time right now.
Indeed. Somebody who is not comfortable, apparently, is Cage with that 136.5. He is back out on track on the set of the soft tires, looking to improve on that and try to haul his weight as the sole remaining Renault into Q3 and get a good starting position. Starting position in the start of the race can have such a huge impact on how your night goes. It's unreal.
And this track kind of acts like Monaco, to where you start is probably going to be where you finish. If everybody doesn't make a mistake, or people make the same mistake, it's almost impossible to pass here consistently, or just to have an opportunity to pass. So
it is, but if everybody starts getting strung out, the DRS can come into great effect down the long straightaway at the end of Sector 1. That is the prime overtaking spot, is into that first corner of Sector 2. As we see right here, this is where you really want to be. Cage sets the fastest first sector, it looks like, and number 1 FinFan retires from the session in the pit lane, as does ABR Burraps, both of them deciding that that is good enough, and Wyborn follows suit in the other Red Bull. We're going to keep our eye on Cage here, impressing so far for the Renault team, currently outdoing much more experienced and tenured teammate Meanfern. Certainly looking to be the shock of the session right now. Gets a little bit of wheel spin out of the hairpin there, but not too much. Keeps it going. Looks like he is going to be a little bit down on his time, actually. That's not what he needs. He's going to have ARS Zizou on an outlap just in front of him. Zizou going to stay out of the way there to the inside. Cage runs a little deep into the chicane here.
Yeah, Zampa jumped up to P7, putting both Ferraris into Q3 of the time to stay.
And he did that on the medium tire, so that's impressive for Zampa. Does a very good job of getting that car up there into the top 10. ARS Science decides he's had enough and retires from the session. Brown Threener following suit. Currently a P9. I don't know if I was Threener, I wouldn't exactly feel too comfortable with that right now.
No, but I'm pretty sure he wants to start on that medium tire, so he's going to lose track position on the start, but he's on the strategy that he wants to be on, so...
True, and that can pay very big dividends. This man right here, this is who we want to watch. Boss Cookie, currently down in P12, in the danger zone, in danger of relegation from the session. What can he do here? If he doesn't invalidate it, this should be a pretty good lap. He is on the soft tire, however, now, which is going to completely probably muck his strategy all up. ARS Zizou behind him on the road, and New Zealand Ryan starting his flying lap, so we'll get back to Ryan in just a second as Boss Cookie comes into the... Ooh, he taps the wall there, no damage to the car. He's got a slow Ferrari in front of him. We want that Ferrari to get moving so that way he doesn't get obstructed. Looks like he does exactly that, or he's headed to the pit lane. What is that Ferrari doing? He's moving so slowly. That's going to get looked at, but Boss Cookie goes P2 nonetheless. That, I believe, was ARS Guido.
Yes, it was Guido.
So Guido probably going to draw the eye of the stewards. We're going to look at the second Racing Point coming up to finish his final flying lap here on the medium tire. What does Zizou have? He's going to jump to P6. So that is a good run from him. Only 2/10 off what his teammate, number 1 FinFan, did. So both Racing Points currently in. Looks like it is going to probably stay that way as New Zealand Ryan is coming up to the end of Sector 2 on the medium tire. He is on the medium tire here, folks. So Ryan looking about that same area, probably going to start somewhere, or, well, he's going to start on the medium tire, but going to end the session somewhere around P4 to P8. Locks up a little bit into the penultimate chicane here. Down towards the final corner, what does the Alpha Tauri have? He's going to be one of the last guys running, and he is going to go with a 135.8, so he actually jumps to P5. Salted Helmet on the soft tire jumps up to P4 to get himself into the next session, but sacrifices his race strategy to do so, much like Boss Cookie and Guido. Currently, Zampa out there on a lap. He's on the medium tire, so he is out. BRL Phantom finishes the lap at a 137.7. Improves by a half second, but not enough to get himself out of Q2. Deer Hunter does not improve. Starting P11, though, good job from the Haas driver. The Haas guys haven't had a lot to cheer about this year, and this has kind of been their highlight so far as tonight in qualifying. Deer Hunter doing an excellent job in that car, almost getting into Q3. Just needed about another 1/10 to get in front of Cage.
Yeah. As the big three of Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull has been kind of disassembled, as Red Bull is the only one with 2 cars into Q3, followed by your team of the Racing Point and the McLarens. So, interesting. Oh, and pretty sure AlphaTauris are both in as well.
Both the Alpha, actually, no, Brown Threener is starting P13 behind Zampa, actually, so he is not into the third qualifying session. So the only 3 teams, it looks, well, actually, no, the only 2 teams, it looks like. No, there are 3. Red Bull, McLaren, and Racing Point all getting both cars into Q3. Aside from that, you have 1 Renault, 1 McLaren, 1 Ferrari, 1 Alpha Tauri, and 1 Alfa Romeo. So Salted Helmet doing a very good job for you tonight, getting up to P4 in Q2 there. We'll see how his night progresses in Q3 and the race momentarily.
Yeah, Salted Helmet is really dragging my car up there.
As is Ryan with that Alpha Tauri. So that's just something you see in this particular series, is you see the really good drivers able to Alonso the crap out of these cars, basically, and get them up onto a plane they shouldn't really be at as far as position.
Yes. Who will be the...
While this is going on, I'm gonna throw myself a chicken pot pie into the microwave and let that do its thing while Q3 is going on, because I haven't eaten dinner and I'm kind of starving.
Ooh. But, yeah, so Burrup will be the first driver out, followed by the Renault, I believe, of Cage, or no, that'll be the McLaren of Boss Cookie.
And everybody going to be on the soft tire because these tires get thrown away at the end of the session, and it does not matter about these tires. It is effectively a qualifying only tire at this point for most of these guys. ABR Burrap's first guy out on the track, wanting to get that first crack in with the clean circuit, so he can set up for that final run if he needs to. I don't think he'll need to be honest. He's pretty much got the car, the positioning, and the skill to get this thing on pole on the first try here, as long as he doesn't do something a little bit silly. Which I don't think he will, because he's a very calm, collected driver. So Burrap's coming underneath the grandstand there to finish out Sector 3. Got a couple more corners. And Boss Cookie actually fairly close behind him, but everybody already out of the pits. Only 10 cars in the session, so plenty of space to be had on the track. And Burraps is going to start his lap. We are going to keep an eye on him. Looking very smooth through that first sector onto the longest straight of the track. It was a 26.07 in the first sector, so a good first sector time to start his lap. Not going to have any traffic whatsoever. It looks like the first guy he would come up on is Salt, but Salt's already into Sector 3, and Burraps is just now navigating towards the Singapore Sling, or what was formerly the Singapore Sling. I'm very much sad they took that chicane out because it created a lot of excitement, or not a lot of real estate. And I'm not too big a fan of what they put in its place.
Well, sadly, I will have no memories of that chicane.
Yeah, you kids don't know what was good about that. It was basically a left, right, left. You banged over it in the space of about 2/10 or 3/10 of a second, and yeah, if you hit it wrong, you might end up in the wall. So, coming up towards the final corner, what does ABR Burraps have in the tank here? He is going to go to P1 currently because he's the only guy with a time of a 33.9, so a great lap. What's Boss Cookie got in store? He is going to go P2 with a 35.0. That just shows the performance difference between those cars, just a second of time, and they're pretty similarly paced as far as drivers. Guido goes to P3 in the Ferrari at a 136.9. We'll see how that holds up. I don't think he had the best of laps right there. Looking back, looks like Cage is going to be the next guy to complete a lap in the Renault, followed by the second McLaren of ARS Sights. Cage going to go to a 137.1. Sights following him out, and it's going to go P3 behind his teammate, so good job from both McLarens to get into the 35s. The 135.6 from Sights. Next car on the road is going to be New Zealand Ryan.
Coming around the last corner. What time will he set? He will set a 135 flat, or basically flat. Right in front of Boss Cookie.
Gets just in front of Boss Cookies. That's going to be crucial for his race. Starting on those medium tires, Wyborn goes P2 to make it a Red Bull 1-2. This could be a huge night for them in the Constructors' Championship to catch up to Mercedes. Taylor's kind of been carrying Mercedes on his back this entire season. Salted Helmet goes to P5 in the Alfa Tauri, or the Alfa Romeo, sorry. And then starting their first flying laps, and number one FinFan has already invalidated his first lap, so he needs to dive into the pits and kind of just, he's kind of needs to go out when the track's just kind of quiet and clean, set up for 2 laps and just go for it. Oh, and he hits the wall too. That's not going to help him out. I think he may have damaged the wing. Nope, did not damage the wing. ARS Zizou still on a lap though, so we're going to keep an eye on him. He's currently the only guy on a flying lap. FinFan, if he does have enough fuel on board, could get another lap in before he dives into the pits, but I would not advise it. Soft tire just really does not seem to be a good tire around here right now. Zizou setting about the same time as he did on the mediums through Sector 2. But then again, this is just the first run. Maybe he's just out there trying to get a banker lap in. All right, up to the line. What does the Racing Point do? Where is he going to slot in? Should be around P5, I think. Goes to P7, so a little bit lower than what I was expecting, but still gets ahead of Guido and Cage. Number one FinFan is going into the pits as probably the smart thing to do, and I would just recommend he goes and runs for 2 laps on that final set of tires.
Yeah, it looks like all the excitement has now calmed down.
And we're going to get that last little spurt of excitement here at the end. With only Zizou out there on a cool-down lap, everybody else in the pit lane. So they'll all re-rack, put some fuel in the car, put a fresh set of tires on, and do it all again here momentarily. Probably going to see them all go out around the 2 to 3 minute mark to try and get optimal track positioning.
Or they go out now, like what looks like
ARS Sights
doing.
Hey, if it gets you clean track, it gets you a clean track.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the only guy out there.
No arguing there.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do, is just go out there by yourself and just run a lap, because you don't have the distraction of traffic, really. Looks like FinFan is also going to go back out immediately. That is exactly what I would have recommended if I'd been able to tell him to do.
And Cage.
And Cage as well, so that's advisable for all of them because they're right down the bottom of the order.
As Cookie will also head out.
Cookie probably wanting to try and at least claw back those next 2 spots. I think he feels he can do that. Although if Wyborn improves, Wyborn's a second off of his teammate. That just shows how quick that Burapps is around this circuit in that Red Bull. He is almost a second clear of his teammate, and a second clear of anybody not in a car with a Red Bull logo on it. Yellow flag.
We have a Ferrari that, one of the Ferraris hit his wing on, looks like pit exit.
Yep, that is ARS Guido, and his qualifying will be done with that. That is not good for him, but he's probably not going to improve much from where he is now anyway.
Well, that's disappointing for the Ferrari team.
It is, but hey, at least they got the car into Q3, and sometimes for those guys that is that's as good as a win, as bad as that car is, to be perfectly honest. That thing is an absolute dog of a car. It used to be quick in a straight line. It had that going for it at least, but now it's just bad everywhere.
As Sainz is on his lap.
He is indeed. What's he going to do down through the first sector? Is he going to improve? Does not look like it at a 10th up. what is now the revised Singapore Sling. Almost a tenth up as he comes through the Sector 2 split. So not really gaining a whole lot here on this second lap for the McLaren driver. What is Bosco going to do? We'll check in on him in just a second there. Actually, he's a little bit up through the first sector, but really kind of hard to gain time through there, to be perfectly honest, and more easy to lose time. Sainz taps the wall just a little bit there on the exit of the penultimate corner. That's exactly what you want to do, is just get that rear wheel right up against that wall. He's going to improve by about 3/10 and jump up again right behind his teammate in P5. So a good job there to get a little closer to the lead driver.
Yeah, one of your racing points, Fan comes up the line, does a 136.7, about 4/10 slower than his teammate Saizu.
Indeed,
that has
but
invalidated his lap.
But he's on an out lap. FinFan is probably going to, he looks like he is running a second hot lap here to try and improve that, just wanting to get a time on the board so he's not starting 10th out of the 10 guys there. See what he can do down through Sector 1. Does he improve? He does by about half a tenth, so that's actually that's an okay little pickup there. I think he actually ran the fastest first sector of anybody as he goes purple there. Looking at Boss Cookie coming up to the line, he's invalidated it, so that's not going to count, but that would have been good enough to put him P2. So, don't think he's got enough to go again here. Looks like the first car to come to the line next will be FinFan, so we're going to keep an eye on him. Gets a little bit sideways there out of the chicane. That racing point at low speed is a bit of a handful, to be perfectly honest. He's right even with his time from the previous laps, so that's not doing too bad considering he's on the second lap on those tires. But if he can, he needs to really find something special through this last sector, running over the curbs very harshly there. It just doesn't look like the car's very well planted at the front. Doesn't look like it's obeying his direction very much. And around the final corner, he does improve. Oh, there we go. There was more like it. 1.3 seconds in the final sector. Good Lord. He must have had an issue the last time around. So good lap there on the second lap to get up to P6.
Next one that looks like that's at the lap is Ryan behind a Ferrari that is finished. He's hit a purple sector too.
That Ferrari's going to get in his way a little bit, but he does go to P2 to split the two Red Bulls, so good job there. ARS Zizu does not improve his position, so he will start in P8. Salted Helmet coming around. What's he going to do? He's going to stay right where he's at, actually. Does not improve his time. Boss Cookie on a cooldown lap here, as is Wyborn. Wyborn actually knocked the front wing off that Red Bull. So that is qualifying done. ABR Burraps with a commanding pole position advantage of 9/10 of a second over New Zealand Ryan, with BRF1 Wyborn starting third in the second Red Bull. So Red Bull sitting very pretty right now, as are the McLaren team.
And especially, very good showing for McLaren and Red Bull, and without Table Clan up there, that's just Red Bull's sweet dream right now to extend their lead in the constructors.
Indeed. Alrighty, folks, so there you have your top 10. ABR Burraps, the 133.9, taking pole position. New Zealand Ryan on the front row with him. Ryan typically gets better starts, so that Alpha Tauri could get in front of Burraps and hinder him a little bit at the start of the race, but we will see what happens there. Kind of looking like, aside from, well, you got effectively 3 Red Bull-owned cars, 2 McLarens, a Racing Point, an Alfa Romeo, another Racing Point, a Ferrari, and then a Renault in the top 10 here. Oh, I have to have my back worked out here in the next few days before that race at Monza on Saturday for Tier 1, because it's fighting me a little bit even just sitting here. Getting old sucks. As we wait for everybody to finish up their strategies for tonight. Do we want to take bets on what tire Taylor's going to start on?
Personally, I think Taylor's going to start on the mediums, but if he's feeling bold, he could start on the hards. Trying to keep the car as clean as possible. Hope for.
I would start on the hards if I was him, just because if it doesn't end up with a safety car, or even if we do, he could get a lot of track position that way and really not be that bad off early on. The big thing he's going to need is clear air. So if he starts on the hard tire, we get an early safety car and all these soft and medium runners dive into the pits and he ends up towards the front of the grid at the restart, or the front of the field at the restart. That could play heavily into his hand because he definitely has a very quick car around here. Maybe not the quickest, as we see. Looking down, he is on the medium. He is going on the medium, so that's a bit of a gamble, but that still opens up a lot of possibilities for him. Right behind teammate BRL Phantom, so Phantom will probably allow him through early on, and then he's got a couple of hard runners in Zampa and Brown 3 are just ahead. Only other car to start on the hard is Unknown Ute. Everybody else either choosing for the soft or medium. Top 3 cars all starting on the medium, followed by Boss Cookie on that compromised strategy from Q2 where he did not get a good lap in on the medium and had to go to the soft to get in, just in front of teammate ARS Sainz in the second of the McLarens. Number 1 FinFan on the medium, Salted Helmet on the soft, ARS Zizou on the medium, Guido and Cage on the softs, followed by Deer Hunter on the mediums. So, a bit of a mixed bag of tire strategies here for the race tonight, folks. That is always going to create some interesting results as the night goes on.
Yeah, and if you're Boss Cookie, you want to get past Burraps, Ryan, and Myborn as soon as possible.
He probably will get the best start out of it. He should get the best start out of everybody. Just due to the fact he is on that soft tire and will have a lot more grip. So he needs to get out in front and make advantage of that while he has it. So, looking for Boss Cookie to take an early lead and try to build a gap before he has to pit, and then he will probably go to the hard tire and try to go to the end of the race. Boss Cookie lamenting in the chat that he could have had P2 in qualifying. Yeah, buddy, you could have had P2 there, and that would have made your job inexorably easier than it is right now. All right, the grid coming around to the starting straightaway. We're going to keep our eye on Boss Cookie in that bright orange McLaren, that papaya orange McLaren on the left side of the street as Zampa has left the session. Let's try to get him back in here. But we're definitely going to be keeping our eye on Boss Cookie. I'm actually going to go on board with him for the start because this is going to be interesting. He is on driver's left, which means he's going to be on the inside for that first corner. Does he send it up the inside of Ryan and Burraps? We'll find out here in just a second as we're going to jump back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are on. This is the man we want to watch right now. Lights are out. Cookie does not get a better start than 3 cars ahead. Ryan gets a brilliant start, though, as they head down to turn 1. He and Burraps are fighting. Cookie's gotten around the second Red Bull to get into P3. Burraps is going to maintain the lead, but only just over Mizzou and Ryan, and now he's got Boss Cookie crawling all over the back of him as they come through turn 4. And that's Sainz getting very loose in the background there. That's going to allow both of the racing points by, as well as ARS Guido and a whole host of others. Zampa back going here. He's on that hard tire. He's going to be towards the back. That's honestly probably not a bad thing as Brown Treacher runs deep off the corner. Taylor already up to P10 in the Mercedes. Make that P9 as he goes around the outside of Cage. Brilliant move. Now he's looking at ARS Guido ahead in the Ferrari. That's going to be a probably pretty easy move. And then he's got two affiliated cars in the racing points who will probably not make life overly difficult for him just ahead. So call it another 3 positions here in the next few laps, as it looks like Guido actually looking for a move on Zizou there in the racing point. Nothing happening there. That's actually compromised his run down the straightaway as Taylor's going to look to make a move. He's going to go to the outside. He's going to get him on the brakes, it looks like. Going to turn in, pinch him down, and then that's going to be job done for Taylor. P8.
Yeah, with that
already.
Taylor's moved up from P15 all the way to P8. So.
7 positions. SSR Zampa dropping down to P20 with his disconnection at the moment. ARS Science also down 6 positions with that big slapper of a slide out of turn 4 onto the longest straightaway of the track. So just losing time all the while through that. ABR Burrup sets obviously fast lap of the race at 1:42.8 to start everything off. Taylor looking for a move on Zizou. Zizou not going to defend it into turn 1, but Taylor backs out. Not feeling very confident about that, so probably going to wait for a little bit. This is the time to make a move right here because DRS is not active for anybody, so it's just going to come down to raw pace, raw skill, and who is going to get the run. Taylor looking like he's going to have a good run here on Zizou down the long straightaway. Zizou fighting back a little bit as they come down the straightaway, but eventually having to surrender the position, so Zizou going to drop to P9, or P8 there, and Taylor up to P7. Make that up 8 spots for the Mercedes driver right now. How high do you think he will climb?
I would not be surprised if he keeps this pace of passing people. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the podium by the end of the night.
Oh, he absolutely will be on the podium by the end of the night. The only question is in what position. As he is now all over the back of number 1 FinFan. FinFan runs a little deep on the exit of the hairpin. That's going to give Taylor the opportunity to get by. Nice, easy gain there. Now up 9 positions in the first 2 laps of this race. Absolutely brilliant. Now he sets his sight on Salted Helmet ahead, those soft tires are going to be starting to heat up a little bit on that Alfa Romeo. So he's got 2 cars ahead of him. He knows he's going to get just on strategy and speed here once they have to pit. Oh, he gets a little sideways right there. So this is the car we're currently watching because he is Mr. Action right now, gaining 9 spots in the first 2 laps, folks. Burap's resets fast lap at a 1:40.8. That's probably going to get smashed by Taylor. Yes, it does. 1:40.6. So Taylor, fastest man on the racetrack, even being in traffic. That just shows how fast that Mercedes is and how well Taylor works with it. Already pulled over a second on the 2 racing points behind, who looks to be running in formation in P7 and P8, just waiting for things to kind of cycle out. Gas Smoking gets a 5-second time penalty for the Williams team for speeding in the pit lane there. Not exactly what you want when you're already running down doldrums. Taylor sets fastest first sector, getting around the Alfa Romeo under DRS. That is not surprising at all. And just look how fast he is running away from that Alfa Romeo. I mean, we know your car is not exactly the best, but that just exemplifies how good that Mercedes is. That skill level-wise, these guys are fairly similar. Salt maybe just a little bit better driver overall, but still Taylor's nobody to scoff at. And that car is just absolutely streaking away from the Alfa Romeo and streaking up on the back of the Red Bull of Wyborn, who is actually crawling all over the back of Cookie, who is starting to feel those soft tires a little bit. He did not get into the clear air like he needed on those first opening couple of laps. And now he's starting to feel the effects of the tire wear as Wyborn on the mediums is just crawling up the back of that diffuser. Ryan still hanging tough, about a second off of Burraps in P2, so good job to him. I got to think Taylor is going to get by these guys pretty quick as he resets fast lap into the 1:39s. So just blistering pace from the Mercedes, trying to make up for that mistake in qualifying, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. Got to think once he gets by these two, he's going to catch up to Ryan pretty much dust him off down the DRS straight, and then has set his sights on Burap's in the lead. All 5 of the top 5 cars still in that first camera shot. Wyborn with DRS. Boss Cookie goes defensive. That's going to allow Taylor right up to the back of both of them. Now Taylor runs a little wide, does not think about a move into the right-hander here. Probably a smart thing because that usually ends in tears for somebody. The Boss Cookie making a very good defensive move there to hold the position. As number 1 FinFan has now got around Salted Helmet, or has he? Salt coming back on him as they go down the straightaway. So the Alfa Romeo maintains P6 for the moment. Got a bit of a train forming behind him. Come on, we don't want to see out the back. We want to see where he is in relation to the car in front. Got another DRS straight right here. Is FinFan going to have an opportunity to get by? Looks like he might. Salt's going to go defensive. Or is he? No, FinFan's going to actually get the inside line, and that is going to be job done, it looks like, for the Racing Point. Can he now gap the Alfa Romeo enough in this third sector to give his teammate an opportunity on the next DRS straight? I don't think he will. Looking back here at Taylor, he is still crawling all over the back of these two. This is the most difficult thing to be doing when you're much quicker than the 2 cars ahead of you, is seeing them fighting over position and just pretty much blocking the racetrack because you just have nowhere to go. As now Boss Cookie picks up a 3-second time penalty. Taylor weaving as Wyborn gets to the inside, trying to say, hey guys, I'm way quicker. Can y'all sort this out? As now ARS Zizou gets to the inside of Salt, pushes him a little bit wide there, but to be fair,
he comes in contact
Salt
with Sainz.
and Sainz both around there. That's going to allow Meanfern up into P8 in the Renault. Meanfern up 8 positions in this race, also climbing a ton of spots, just like Taylor. Got eliminated in Q1 early on, remember. Speaking of which, Taylor gets by Boss Cookie. Cookie probably saying, yep, nope, go ahead, have at it. My tires are toast. You go and do your thing, bud. So now Taylor up a staggering 11 spots in the first 5 laps of this race. Just passing people at a rate of knots in that Mercedes. And he's only about 4 seconds off the race lead. That's the crazy part about this. He's passed 11 cars and is only 4 seconds off the lead.
He's angry, and he ain't taking anybody for prisoners here.
No, he is not. The gloves are off at the Mercedes team tonight for Taylor Clan 2008. He came into this race hot. Close down on Wyborn, starts closing down on him. As Wyborn gets loose out of the final corner, that's going to give Taylor an opportunity down the front straightaway. Not quite close enough, though, so down the main straights where he's going to be looking for it. Needs to be a little bit closer right now. He's going to get a bit better traction out of that third corner up towards turn 4. Now he needs a good run down this straightaway. You can still see the lead of the race as he comes onto that straightaway. He may have an opportunity here. As we have a yellow flag, that's going to be gas smoking off the back of the field. Taylor not quite close enough. Wyborn really turning things up, I think, to keep him behind and buy his teammates some more time. Because that's all Wyborn's doing right here. He's trying to buy Burap's as much time as possible because Taylor is on a rampage right now.
Yeah, Taylor's closing in by 5/10, almost a lap on Burap's, and
he's in traffic. That's the crazy part. He's been in traffic this whole time, and he's doing.
Wait till he gets clean air.
Exactly. Let him get around Wyborn. We will probably see that fast lap get absolutely demolished. Just absolutely unbelievable driving from the Mercedes driver. Props to him. He has just put on a show. Gas smoking again. Looks like he is, spun around at turn 3. Nothing really going on there. He's just lost the car. Taylor, a lot closer through the final couple of corners this time. Gets a good run there. He's right on the back of that Red Bull. Will not be shocked if he tries to make a move down this front straightaway here. Not close enough. Can't quite do it. VRF Wyborn picks up a 3-second time penalty there. That's not going to help his case at all. Taylor just needs to stay this close through this next corner, and he's going to have him down the next straightaway. And oh, Phantom has spun at the penultimate corner. And he's got damage. And oh, Zampa, right there. Same place.
Zampa didn't want Phantom to be lonely.
No, he did not. Looking back up here at Taylor, we got a safety car, actually. I really don't see why, but that's going to neutralize this race, and it's actually going to open up some different strategy options right here for these guys. So let's look at the tires that everybody has got on at the moment. This is a boon for Boss Cookie. Yeah, this is a boon for Boss Cookie right now. Only guy out there aside from Gas Smoking on the soft tire, and he was going to probably have to hit the pit lane here in the next lap or two. So this is a huge thing for him. Just that saves him from both the racing points, who are probably about to get up there and chew him up in the next few laps as those tires started to go off. So unfortunately, that neutralizes the race, and that's disappointing because this was shaping up to be a very, very strategically interesting race. But the person that's going to really help is Taylor, because he's got a 6-second gap back to Boss Cookie, and he's right on the back of Wyborn. So if he just stays right where he is, Wyborn might get held by Taylor leaving the pits. And Taylor's in no danger of getting held by anything. Not to mention, if Wyborn pits here, he's going to probably be... He doesn't. He stays out. So that's going to be a free pit stop and probably the position right there for Taylor.
It looks like both of your cars are coming in as well.
I really, really don't understand them doing that. Zizou getting a good little 4-second gap. I think that'll be healthy enough. He's got a good gap back to Meanfern behind, so they can both pit and come back out in the same position. So the only thing, he's going to get held for a couple of seconds, but not too bad. You really need about a 6-second gap because that back jackman just does not get out of the way. Looks like Meanfern may have had a possible wing change there. So he's going to come out further behind Zizou than when he went in and almost lose a spot to Deer Hunter as well. So yeah, I think the Renault had a wing change there. Anybody staying out? Yeah, SF1 Rhodes and Wyborn both staying out. So they will pick up some positions, as well as ARS Guido on 2-lap hold hards. So he was already on the hards, but now that 2-lap difference is going to make a big difference around here, especially with that car not already being the quickest of a straight line. He'll probably get picked off by ARS Zizou pretty quick, as well as Salt and Helmet. Salt actually went on to the medium a lap before that safety car came out, so not sure why he would have done that. But he's still
Taylor looking on the mediums, unlike Ryan and Burraps. So
interesting. Does Taylor just think he can get away? Because I mean, he's definitely got the pace. He's going extremely quickly here, but that is a long pit lane, and he's only gonna have about 20 laps to do this, to make that work. So he's got to pull almost a second and a half a lap to make that work. Not that he can't do it, but still, that's a long way. He is probably going to go to the softs at the end, I would think, now.
Yeah. Taylor's probably just banking on another safety car just near the end of his stint.
It could be possible. Which, if that ends up being the case, he will look like a very smart man. But he's already looked like a very smart man tonight.
Very smart and dangerous man.
Taylor, when he's pissed off, he's not fun. Nobody's fun to be around when they're pissed off. But when he gets pissed off, he's kind of like me. He gets pissed off and he starts driving better. Got the Williams there of Gas Smoking 22 behind Taylor on the track. Looks like he is unlapping himself. I'm not sure if he can do that.
Is it?
Yeah, no, he's having to fall back in line. Yeah, bud, unless you're unless the leader has not caught the safety car, you cannot pass anybody. So that's just, I really, really hate when people try to do that under safety car. It's like, unless the game tells you to overtake somebody, don't do it. Because you're probably going to end up netting them a penalty.
Yeah, that, or you're going to break somebody else's wing. Just trying to get past.
Speak to the devil, I think he just broke his own wing.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. Not sure what you're doing there, bud, but it ain't too smart.
Safety car's in this lap.
Safety car in this lap. Currently Red Bulls 1 and 2. Wyborn staying out.
I would not be surprised if Wyborn lets Burroughs pass early.
I would not be shocked about that either. He's probably going to try and act like a roadblock and hold Taylor back.
If he can hold him back. Especially now with Taylor on the softer tire.
Well, they were both on the medium tire to start with, but Taylor's now got 8-lap fresher mediums, which is going to be a huge advantage as far as braking performance and traction around this particular circuit. And I just now noticed that, but Wyborn actually uses my number. Car number 62 there. We'll just call him 62.2. Zizu with a 3-second time penalty right off the restart for running wide a little bit on the exit. Probably going to try and dispose of Guido very quickly there. And here we... Nope, don't see it quite yet. Red Bull still running nose to tail. Looking back there, Taylor looking very hungry, trying to get by Ryan. Perhaps is going to go around the right-hand side. That's going to also allow Ryan through, and Taylor looks like he's going to look for it as well. So Taylor already passed Wyborn on the first lap after the restart. So much for him acting as a roadblock there.
So staying out did not pay off at all. That puts him up for hunting for boss cookie as well.
Indeed. Speaking of hunting, the next car that did not pit there, SF1 Rhodes, got a huge train of cars behind him, including both Racing Points, Salted Helmet, and ARS Guido, all chomping at the bit to get around him. FinFan going to be the first to try it. He's going to go up the inside here, gets by, and that's actually going to allow Guido and the other Alfa Romeo of Salted Helmet an opportunity to get by. Zizu, the odd man out there at the back in P10, getting stuck behind him. Not very cash money to let the whole train through and then kind of cut the caboose off. That's not very cash money. Although I don't think it'll be long before Zizu disposes of the Alfa Romeo ahead of him. Looking back up here, Taylor still, he's just absolutely riding all over the back of Ryan now. He needs to get around Ryan and make use of these medium tires while he has got them. And they are good. DRS should be coming into play here on the next lap, so if he doesn't get him this lap, he'll definitely get him the next lap. Looks like he's going to have the drive down the straightaway, though, with that Mercedes power unit. Got a yellow flag in Sector 1. That is Cage, who looks like he has spun out at Turn 1. He has, and he's got some wing damage, too. So not what he needed right there. And looking back up ahead, Burroughs now sees a mirror full of his championship rival, as Meanfern picks up a 3-second time penalty there. And Zizu has disposed of SF1 Rhodes and now sets his sight on the other Alfa Romeo of Salted Helmet just ahead. So how long will it take Taylor to get around ABR Burroughs? My guess is not going to be too long. We have another safety car. Cage is out. We have another safety car. What is that going to do to this field? We're going to play musical chairs again, folks?
Yeah, the two no-brainers, I believe, that will pit would be Wyborn and Rose here. Maybe Brown. definitely gives Burrup some time to breathe. Doesn't have a mirror full of black car basically pushing around every corner.
And as expected, Wyborn does hit the pit. As does Rhodes. Round 3 are staying out, actually. And looks like the only other taker to the pit lane is going to be Unknown Ute. So the game says you can take a set of medium tires to the end from here. Not sure that you would want to, compared to a hard tire, but we know that Taylor has to stop again because he's only used the medium tires. He really needs to just absolutely dust off Burraps and get gone and hope there's not another safety car. Because now he's made his bed. Now he's lost time and momentum because of this safety car when he could have already been around Burraps that had stayed out for another lap without the safety car. He could have already been done and gone.
Yeah, if Taylor does not pit again, those mediums will just eat away at his sanity, I believe.
Yeah, so he definitely has to pit at least once to be good at the regulations. You have to use 2 compounds of tire in a race, and he's only used 1 so far. He's just used 2 sets of it.
Oh yeah.
So at some point he will have to hit the pit lane. The question is when and what tire does he put on? I think he's going to try and stretch it out to the last few laps and go to the softs, but to do that he's going to need either a really well-timed safety car after they've all streaked away from the field again, or B, he's going to need to get out in front and build a huge gap.
Yeah, at this point, a 15 to 16 second gap is going to be probably the best for him right now. As we should just be going around the track one more time as we wait for gas smoking to catch up to the pack.
Hopefully cautions don't breed cautions here. Everybody being packed up like this makes everybody very nervous.
Well, especially with the safety car going ungodly slow in some corners. Definitely nerve-wracking.
And you can see Burraps just weaving and weaving and weaving, trying to keep temperature. It looks like there's a green light on top of the safety car there, so that indicates we should be going back this lap regardless. Sometimes I really think on circuits like this we should do away with the thing, because the smallest incident, like 2 cars spinning out in the same spot on the track without even actually touching each other, can cause a safety car. And Chandler Seta has now joined the session. I'm not sure. Oh, he's taken Cage's empty spot, so trying to help his 2 Ferrari drivers along a little bit quicker in the session here.
As we should have the pop-up for the safety car in anytime soon.
Maybe, maybe not.
So, safety car does go around again. This could help Taylor just stretch those medians out for another lap or so.
and it has in fact stayed out for another lap. Looking at some penalties for the top 5 here. Boss Cookie does have 1 3-second time penalty, at least.
Yeah, I'm looking through the penalties as
does
well.
Wyborn.
Looks like everybody is pretty light on the penalties.
Yeah, fairly light. Everybody keeping it well within the confines of the track limits for the most part, aside from a few people.
Yeah, your driver FinFan has yet to have a warning, so he's having a really clean race.
He is. I told him to drive like your grandma. That's what he's doing.
As all 19 cars are together, so we should have the safety car in this lap.
And just in time, I've just finished my pot pie.
Ooh, gotta love coincidences.
I say finished. I've gotten all the good stuff out of the middle. I'm just scraping the breading from the outside of the thing.
And there it is, safety car in this lap.
Alrighty, folks, we'll be back to racing here very shortly. And the field now back in the hands of ABR BRL 19.
The question probably everybody's thinking is, how fast will Taylor Klein get past Burraps?
As fast as he is humanly possible.
Yeah, at this point, it's not if Taylor Klein can get past, it's just when.
And then it's a question of how fast is he going to streak off into the distance, because now it's not going to be a question of fuel for anybody in the field. Doesn't matter what you started off the race with, you're going to be good to the end of the race after all these safety car laps. We're back going here again. ABR Burraps getting a good jump there. Zampa getting a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Sainz. And looks Ryan! And Salt's out!
That could be another safety car.
I don't think so, because it's on the inside away from the racing line. But that was a big hit, and now Ryan way down the back of the field. So looking here at Taylor and Burraps, Taylor's going to have the slipstream. He's going to have everything turned up, but so is Burraps. Not going to be able to get him here. He's going to have to wait to the next lap, make Burraps burn up some of those tires and some of that ERS before he can make a move. That's one thing I don't like about the manually dispensed ERS, is that it's, as Burraps gets a little sideways there, it's very easy to defend. It's almost overpowering to just turn that on and defend from somebody. But that's going to put Boss Cookie up P3, and Guido has actually jumped FinFan in all the chaos there in the Ferrari. So doing very well off that restart for the man in red.
Yeah, somehow Ryan does not have wing damage from...
Well, I think he just spun out is all. And he may have got hit up the back, actually. See if there's anybody that maybe possibly has some wing damage. It doesn't look like it. Taylor is still just crawling all over the back of Burraps here. Gotta imagine he'll get him this next lap. But Burraps wants to hold him back there as long as possible. They can burn up those medium tires. But just the amount of the speed difference between these two cars right now, you can just see Taylor as Burraps runs wide off the final corner. That's going to compromise his run down the front straightaway. Taylor goes to the driver's right-hand side. And he's going to get to the inside right here. This is going to be the job done right here at turn 3. Brilliant switchback move from the Mercedes driver to take the lead of the race for the moment. Now he's just got to be head down, and he's got to get after it.
Yeah, after the move, he's already half a second up on Burraps, so...
He really needs to be over a second clear of him by that point the next lap, though, to keep him from getting DRS. He is going to start pulling that gap now through the twistier sections of the track, which is exactly what he needs to do. Make use of that softer tire, use that mechanical grip advantage, and get away. And there's that 1 second barrier already broken, not even half a lap later. Taylor might be on a march right now to win this race. And boy, wouldn't that be a story. Crashes out in Q1, starts P15, comes back. We're halfway into this race, and he's into the lead. And he just set the fastest second sector of the race as well, by the way.
He's almost 2 seconds up after being. He hasn't even been in the lead for a whole lap.
No. Unbelievable. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He is making use of the fact that his car in race trim is just miles quicker.
It looks like he's going to pull the gap to 2.5 seconds leading into lap 17.
And wow,
oh
1:39.0. And he still has to make another pit stop and go on to an even softer tire, so that fast lap point is probably going to get locked up. He's pulled almost 3 seconds on that man in 1 lap. This is the kind of pace he needs to be showing. He's probably going to come out somewhere, if he pits where I think he's going to pit, he's going to probably, as gas smoking gets disqualified for ignoring a drive-through penalty he got after 3 laps. It does notify you, so it's not like he didn't know. And that should not bring out that won't bring out a safety car, I don't think. If it does, then Codemasters, you got some splaining to do.
What Taylor really needs right now is Buskey to get on the back of Burraps and just make Burraps worry about the car in his mirrors instead of the one that's in front of him.
Exactly.
He needs Burraps to Cookie the battle.
Get him focused behind him. And that's entirely possible. Cookie is no slouch. And that McLaren in race trim is a lot closer to the Red Bull than it was in qualifying. Behind these guys, Guido is still ahead of FinFan, but DRS is now going to kick into effect on this next lap, I think. And just looking at this, Taylor coming up to the final couple of corners. We got a yellow flag as looks like Zampa has run long. He's run long, no damage, gets going again.
Oh, and no, that was just a weird glitch as even faster lap from Taylor.
That's exactly what he needs to do. He's out to 5 seconds already after 2 laps of being in the lead. That is exactly the kind of pace that he needs to be churning out right now.
And Boss Cookie's within a second, so he might have DRS. He might be just outside it.
He is going to be just outside of it this lap. So he needs to try and close up a little bit on that Red Bull. He's going to do so down the straightaway just a little bit. That Renault engine a little bit more potent than the Honda. And he's a little better on the brakes, it looks like, as well, than the Red Bull ahead, which is a little surprising. Meanwhile, looking back here, Guido is still holding off both racing points very valiantly in that Ferrari. But he is on 3-lap older tires, so the tire wear towards the end of the race could become crucial for him.
And Phantom's holding his own little train behind him as well of Sainz, Ryan, and Newt.
He is, but man, they are all chopping at the bit trying to get around him. The Deer Hunter's just kind of like, yeah, you can just stay right there. I'm going to keep taking off in the distance while you fight those guys. Guy who's, again, had a quiet race here, Mean Fern. Got that 1 3-second time penalty on his rap sheet, but doing a good job here in 8th place after getting eliminated in Q1 and starting P16. Doing a very quiet, very solid job for the Renault team tonight. His teammate out of the session, unfortunately, so whatever he scores is going to be the only thing that they take home tonight. Everybody but
really
Unknown.
good ones.
Exactly. The Haas guys, again, not scoring a whole lot of points. Another 2 from Deer Hunter would be brilliant for them to get their season off and rolling. Brown 300 gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting, interestingly enough. He went off the pit exit. So 300.
That may be going to the stewards.
It is. He's going to come in, fit another set of the medium tires, go to the end of the race here. Looking back up the field, that's going to elevate Fern to 7th. And Mean Fern, I thought he was spinning there. He just locked up a little bit on the entrance corner. That was an optical illusion from where the camera was positioned. Deer Hunter. Oh, and looks like Wyborn's around. Wyborn is around at the exit of turn 4. He's just waiting on, looks like Rhodes to go by. Now he's going to get that car righted. Got some wing damage on that Red Bull, unfortunately, so he's going to have to head to the pit lane and see if he can get things sorted out. Brown Thringer goes by. Unfortunately, picking up that 3-second time penalty. I don't know if they'll undo that because that penalty for Thringer, that he might just be stuck with that. But everybody except for Unknown Youth, Brown Thringer, and now obviously VRF Wyborn going to be making one stop in this race. You got a yellow flag in sector 2. That is going to be Zampa, I think. It is. He spun around at the exit of the Singapore Sling. Got it pointed back the right direction now. And he's off and rolling. Does he have any wing damage, though? As Deer Hunter picks up a 3-second time penalty. He does not have any wing damage, so a lucky escape for Zampa there. Currently down in P15, though.
As
now,
looks like the
racing points have swapped. They have swapped around. Zizou is a little quicker right now. Finfan sees that and just lets his teammate go by, I think. Wanting to try and chase down Guido. Maybe let Zizou have a crack at Guido ahead of him. That or Finfan made a big mistake in sector 3 coming up the final corner, as it looks like Wyborn has hit the wall underneath the stadium, or the grandstand section. Should be cleared long before Taylor gets to him. Speaking of which, Taylor out to a 10-second advantage now, so if there was a safety car for that, which it doesn't look like there's going to be, that would be huge, but we're all back to green.
Wyborn is out.
Yeah, he hit the wall and took himself out of the race. So
yeah, Phantom just dropped from P9 to P11 through sector 1, so definitely not a lap for him. And Ryan has finally gotten back into points position.
He has indeed. Currently, so to give an idea of what the battle for third place is looking like, let me pull up the standings on my phone real quick, because all of this with Ryan, with Threener, all of this is extremely crucial to that positioning, as well as with Cage being out for the Renault team and Meanfern currently in P7 behind both the racing points. This is crucial, and we got. Oh no, is that Taylor? It is! He spun! Oh no! He spun out, and all that hard work is for nothing. All of it for nothing now. Oh no.
Oh, that's just heartbreaking.
I looked down and I saw that aqua dot. Because now Finfan does pick up a 3-second time penalty. Does Finfan maybe have some wing damage? He does not, but the car obviously not behaving to his liking right now. Losing some time to his teammate, as looks like Phantom also spins at that same corner that Taylor did. And Phantom does have wing damage.
And
Unknown Youth hitting the pit lane.
Probably hoping for a safety car now, just within the next 3 laps.
He is really hoping for a safety car, as BRL Phantom adds insult to injury, getting a speeding penalty there. Unknown Youth, BRL Phantom, and looks like Zampa all heading for the pit lane right now. Zampa also getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And as we have a yellow flag, looks like, did somebody retire from...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably Phantom
Zampa
retiring.
Zampa did retire in the pit lane there. So that's all that yellow flag is about, folks. Nothing to be concerned about. Looking down here, ARS Sainz has caught up to the back of Deer Hunter in the Haas, as well as Ryan right behind him in the Alpha Tauri. These two guys are going to want to make short work of that Haas in front. Won't be too difficult. Oh, Ryan almost runs in the back of Sainz, looking down here from this beautiful helicopter shot. I love these shots. And Joe in the Williams just on the cusp of points. Not too far behind these guys. Boss Cookie is actually clawing onto the back of Burraps here, just a couple of tenths behind. If these two start really fighting over position, that could be Taylor's saving grace right now. But then again, Taylor was something like 3 seconds a lap faster on the medium tire. If he gets onto the soft tire the last few laps, oh, and these two are going at it for P2. Boss Cookie going around the outside, running a little bit off the track, so he's going to have to kind of surrender the position, but he hangs on in there, gets the job done, and now Burraps gets sideways, so that's job done for Cookie. Position earned, and now that is going to help Taylor get away a little bit because his car is much quicker than that McLaren. So this is exactly what he needs
to build a. Yeah, also he needs to build a 3-second gap to Burraps because he does have a 3-second penalty, as Burraps only has 2 warnings, I believe.
I believe you are correct in that aspect, sir. Taylor, if he can come out somewhere between FinFan and Fern, he may still have a shot at this because that soft tire for a few laps is going to be absolutely blisteringly quick. As Mean Fern picks up a second 3-second time penalty, that's something FinFan definitely wanted to see because they were level on penalties. So now FinFan can kind of breathe a sigh of relief in that P6. Personally, I would not be disappointed with them finishing P5 and P6.
No, they've basically been hanging around that area all race.
They really have. It's been a solid night for my guys in pink there, so good job, boys. You're doing great. Keep it up. Looking back up here, Burraps not letting Cookie get too far away in that McLaren ahead of him. DRS open for the Red Bull. What can he do down this long straightaway? He's going to gain a good bit, but he's too far behind for a move, I think. And Cookie's car is a bit slipperier in a straight line. Boss Cookie gets another 3-second time penalty, though, so that's not going to help him. He now has to build a 6-second gap back to the Red Bull, and he is almost broken out of that second gap right now, which that would be huge because that will allow him to really start building that gap up. Taylor's pulled a further second on these two while they're squabbling over P2 here and trying to break and maintain that DRS gap. So I think Taylor could rejoin somewhere around P6 if he pitted right now. Even if he didn't, he would probably rejoin P7 at the lowest, and Ryan has made his way to P8, gotten around both Deer Hunter and Sainz. Interesting battle for the final point right here between the Haas of Deer Hunter and the Williams of Joe F1. About 3 seconds in it right now. I'm not sure if Joe has a penalty. I know Deer Hunter has 1, so this could get interesting for that final point. Can Joe claw that car on a track that really doesn't suit it into the points? Meanwhile, just behind, Brown Threener looking to overtake both of them, so he might dash that dream entirely. He does have that 10-second time penalty he is carrying, though, and only about 7 laps at the end of this lap to get in front of both these cars and then pull a 10-second gap, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that. So that will be crucial whether that stands or not. As now ARS Zizou is within DRS range of ARS Guido for P4. That would be a season best result to match his teammate's best result from a few weeks ago well, actually no, his teammate got 3rd place. So that would be a brilliant result for both of them. If they can both get the Ferrari, they should be very proud of themselves here. Looking back, Brown Threener has already disposed of Joe, so that is going to put him into P11, and now he's going to set his sights on Deer Hunter ahead in the Haas, about 3 seconds up the road. How high can Threener climb? Can he get around ARS Sainz? I think Ryan is going to make a move on Mean Fern here in just a few laps. And there's a pretty decent gap. He'd have to be going quite a bit quicker to catch up to the 2 cars ahead. Come back, Burraps still hanging around that 1-second gap to Boss Cookie there. And Taylor really starting to lose a little bit of drive compared to the 2 cars behind, not really pulling out any more time.
Yes, he's probably hitting the
cliff of the tires right there, yeah. He's probably approaching that cliff. If I was him here in the next couple of laps, I would maybe, with 5 or 6 to go, hit the pit lane, go onto that soft tire, and really try to just bang out a few good laps. He doesn't have to push the car being that much quicker, but it would certainly be to his advantage if he can do it without repeating what he did. Man, just think, if he had not spun that car, he would be 10 seconds further up the road almost. And he would be in much better shape.
Yeah, it was either be this lap or next lap that he should come in for those softs.
Indeed. So Got a bit of a DRS train forming for both the Racing Points and that Ferrari. They're all within a second of each other here. So Zizou with the DRS, maybe not going to be close enough, I don't think. So he's going to have to try and haul himself a little closer through Sector 2 and maybe get a run into that last corner of Sector 2. His teammates favor that spot for an overtaking point a few times tonight. And now looking down here at Brown Treener, he's already caught up to Deer Hunter. He got the DRS. Probably going to absolutely just blitz him down this straightaway. Going to the outside, Deer Hunter goes defensive. Little bit of contact right there, nothing too bad. Treener's going to have the inside for the next corner and gets the job done. So Treener
those
up
treacherous
under the
tires
points.
definitely showing.
Absolutely no chance there. Ryan on the back of Mean Fern for P7 right now after his spin. Ryan with a really good recovery drive, going to try to get the run out of the corner here. He's going to have DRS. Probably going to see a move here up at the end of this straightaway. Or maybe not. He's Mean Fern actually pulling a bit of a gap down that straightaway, impressively enough. That Renault really not hanging around on the straightaways.
As there it is, Taylor's in the pits.
Taylor Clan into the pit lane. Ryan with a 3-second time penalty there. Taylor is going to the soft, so that is his 2 sets of different tires. He is going to come out likely in P6, just like we predicted. Crucially, ahead of Ryan and Mean Fern, it looks like, unless they really get a move on, but I think he's going to get them both before it's going to be close, but I think he's going to be safe. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Ooh. Depends how fast he can get around this corner.
And he's going to no.
He's behind.
He gets stuck behind both of them. He's going to have to get around those guys this lap and do it quick. That is crucial for Taylor. How far behind is he? He is currently 20 seconds behind, but look at that. He is already gaining on the 2 cars ahead as Ryan makes the move on Mean Fern. We got a yellow flag there for, looks like unknown ute spinning out.
Unknown.
And now he's closing up right on the back of Mean Fern. He's got to be very careful to not damage the car, being able to go so much deeper into the braking zone. Mean Fern may let him by here, but Taylor's going to do everything he can. No, Mean Fern does not let him by. That's going to be crucial, but he's going to go around the outside. Power move right there by Taylor. Mean Fern gets the drive out of the corner, though. And this has got to be frustrating for Taylor. He's like, man, I'm on soft tires. I got to get around you now, and you're just making this excessively difficult for something you know is going to happen anyway. Now with those fresh tires, he lost a half second being stuck behind Mean Fern, but he's already in just a couple of corners clawed that back, and he's right onto the back of Ryan immediately. Probably have Ryan down the front straightaway and call it job done. Zizou and Guido getting ever closer for that current P4 spot. Burapps gets back around Boss Cookie and has DRS to boot, so he's going to draw away from him down this straightaway quite a bit. What happened to Boss Cookie there?
I have no idea. I was looking for the battle for P3 right now. Everyone, the Ferrari and both Racing Points all have a 3-second penalty, so it's whoever
all
finishes
level.
P3.
Taylor sets fastest first sector of the race. He's got a ghosted car out in front of him, so that's not a big deal. That's just Unknown Utes lapped Haas. As Unknown actually hits, he hits the wall and he spins out. Hopefully he keeps it all together. Yellow flag in sector 2 for that. Gets it pointed back the right direction. Taylor currently 8 seconds behind. Let's see how fast he closes up on the 2 Racing Points in front of him. Already just a corner right there, a half a second. So this will not take him very long at all. But he has got to make hay while the sun shines to make this work. Currently looking at that battle for P3, the Racing Point team coming out incredibly well tonight, currently in P4 and P5. They are only 12 points behind Renault, 13 behind Ferrari, 32 behind McLaren, who they would gain on because Sainz, well, actually they may or not gain on McLaren. It might be a level fight there. And AlphaTauri, with both the AlphaTauris currently behind them. That would cause that battle for P3 to tighten up significantly. Taylor Clan sets the fastest lap of the race by a wide margin of a 1:36.3, 2 seconds and some change faster than his previous best. Already halved that gap to the Racing Points ahead. That is absolutely what he needs to be doing for the next 4 laps of this race. If he can keep that up for the next 4 laps of this race, he may have a shot at getting back on the podium. Well, he's definitely going to get back on the podium, I think, because he'll dust off these 3 cars ahead of him. But then he's got a 6-second gap up to Burapps and Boss Cookie. If he may still win this race.
Well, yeah,
it's going to be tight, but he may still win this race.
Something crazy here. Taylor is currently 4 seconds faster than the lead car right now.
Exactly, and his current gap to the leader is only 11.5 seconds, and he's got 3.5 laps left of this race.
Yeah, and that was 20 seconds not too long ago.
It was just a couple of laps ago. It was twice what it is now, so he has cut the gap to the leader in half as Zizou looking to make a move, possibly. Nope, just getting some clear air onto the radiators of that Racing Point. We're going to leave it on that leader gap to leader graphic for the moment as we just watch Taylor in that Mercedes fling that thing around this circuit. He really needs to get by these 3 cars very quickly. I don't think he'll have any issue. The Racing Points are not going to fight him too much. Got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Looks like Unknown Ute possibly again getting a little backwards there. Not going to get a safety car at this point in the race, but you never want to rule it out. And now Taylor right on the back of the Racing Points. FinFan probably going to not fight him too hard here. Probably roll out and let him go, but no, stays in front. Going to make Taylor work for it. Taylor's going to go to the inside on the curve. As FinFan looks on his teammate, nothing happening there. Oh, Zizou runs wide. Are we about to... Oh, boys, careful, 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 careful. We don't want to undo all the good work the 3 of you have done to this point. So that's going to be Taylor back into P4 as the Racing Points hold station in P5 and P6 there. That was messy. That was very messy from all 3 of them, but it all turned out okay. Nobody got hit in the fence.
That's probably an overtake of the week candidate if...
Possibly right there. Taylor Clan with the abs, and it was all caught on camera right there. He's now going to get Guido down the straightaway with DRS and just a much better drive out of that hairpin. The Racing Points really needed him to put Guido offline a little more than that, but Guido getting very sideways behind that Mercedes. And now with 2 laps to go, he has got to get within 3 seconds of the leader. He's at 7 seconds right now, and hopefully he's still about 3 seconds a lap faster because he's got 2 to go. Taylor Clan currently up, what, 13 positions, I think? 12
right
positions.
Now.
Number 1, FinFan picking up a 3-second time penalty right there. That's not going to help him out. So he is going to finish this race in P6 regardless of what else happens around him.
Yeah, and Zizou's out of DRS range.
He is, because they both got caught up fighting with Taylor there. Round 3, and they're picking up another 3-second time penalty. I don't think that's going to affect his race too much, but he may still lose the spot to Deer Hunter as Mean Fern gets by ARS Science, or ARS Science is actually getting by Mean Fern. Excuse me there, and Threener's right in the middle of this fight as well.
Taylor under 4 seconds now.
Under 4 seconds to Boss Cookie, under 5 to the race leader. If he catches both these guys on track and passes them, man, I don't know what to say to that, aside from bravo. You still got to do it, but there's a good chance he might. It's not out of the realm of possibility. If this man goes from 15th to 1st, this has got to be the drive of the season from Taylor. You see the car squirming under acceleration there. He is leaving nothing on the table right now. He says he has gone and said, screw it, I'm going for it, whatever happens, happens. He's within that 3-second gap to the leader. Right now, whatever else he gains right here is gravy. I don't think he has a penalty. I know Burapps, I think, has 1. Cookie has at least 2. And FinFan has dropped quite a bit of time to his teammate. Not sure what's happened here.
Oh, Burrups has none, so Taylor needs to get past Burrups for the win.
He does indeed. FinFan's got wing damage. He's got one more lap to survive. He's got about 3 seconds and 3.5 seconds back to Ryan. That is not what he needed to have happen there. He just needed to kind of chill out and relax. I mean, he was gonna finish 6th regardless. I'm not sure what even happened there. Taylor ever closer to Boss Cookie. I don't think he's going to get Burraps on track, but he's only 1.7 seconds behind. He needs Cookie to get out of the way here. He needs Cookie out of the way.
Fight this.
No, Cookie should not fight this because, I mean, look, they're all right there. The top 3 are in the camera shot. Cookie needs to get out of the way and let Taylor have a crack through this final sector. He needs to back off.
Around. And Deer Hunter.
Why on earth is Cookie still in front of him? I don't understand this. Cookie's going to lose this spot regardless of what happens. Why bother staying in front of him? This is just kind of being a dick, to be perfectly honest, right now. Like, this could have come down to the last corner of the last lap for this, but he's just deciding to stay in front and be kind of an asshole. Burraps is going to win the race. Taylor's going to claw his way back to P2. Boss Cookie's going to finish P3 on penalties. And ARS Guido is going to finish P4 for Ferrari. Zaizu in P5. Got Ryan and FinFan fighting over P6 right here. I think FinFan's going to just hold on to it. Ryan is going to get stuck behind him. Yep. So.
Yeah, great drive by both of your racing points tonight.
Indeed. Good drive by both of them. A little bit of a heart and mouth moment to finish it off there. Brown, Threener, and ARS Science coming across the line. Threener with a lot of penalties right there. And then Mean Fern coming across. And Deer Hunter is going to jump to P9 currently. With Joe F1 also getting Brown, Threener for P11 right there. So a crazy race. Multiple safety cars. And if Taylor hadn't spun, he'd have won that race.
Yeah, an absolute, almost perfect drive from Taylor playing just
one mistake. And it could have been a lot less of a mistake, but he just couldn't quite get the car pointed back the right direction fast enough. We're going to look right here at ABR Burraps. I believe he is the championship leader. Let me double check that really quick. No, he is not. So he is going to gain a further 7 points, or 6 points on Taylor, with Taylor getting the fast lap by a long way there, to close the gap at the top to just 13 points with 5 rounds remaining.
Excuse me? You're on stream, bud. Alright. That's just obnoxious, honestly.
All right, well, there we see the podium celebrations. Congratulations again to ABR Burraps 19 on a very dominant win from pole. But you got to feel for Taylor right now. Clawed his way from 15th to P2 and almost had a shot at it. Just that mistake in the middle of the race when he was in the lead of the race, drawing away from everybody, took him out of the opportunity to win that race. Boss Cookie fighting his way to P3 in the McLaren, losing out to Taylor at the end there on penalties.
Yeah, if you want an example of a driver being pissed off and just out driving everybody, Taylor Clan today probably is the
great
example
of that. P15 to P2 at Singapore. I don't care what you're driving. That's impressive. All right, so there you see the race results. Highest finishing overall team as far as both cars positioned is the BWT Racing Points, scoring a total of, looks like 18 points tonight. They're going to get outscored, not by points. We're not talking by points. We're just talking about both cars' finishing positions. And So yes, Red Bull getting 25 points, Mercedes getting 18 points, and McLaren scoring a total of 19 points there to be the second best team on points overall behind the race winner. Titan, let's start off our podium interviews. Who do you want to start with, the high man or the low man?
I'll start with low man. So, Cookie, definitely saw that you wanted P2, but that one penalty knocked you down to P3. Safety car came in at an odd time for you. You went on the hards, which was probably the safer option. But how do you feel about the overall race?
I think it was good. I think BRL must have had damage or something. Like I'm not. BRL, did you have damage?
Yeah, I had front end plate damage from
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, you didn't just run out of talent in the last stint there. No, it was a good race. I shouldn't have gotten a podium. I didn't have the pace for it. But the restart was really weird, and both Ryan and I half spun. But I was able to lock up the tires and save it. Ryan, I got it worse than me and died. But so yeah, I think it was a good race. Taylor has no room to be mad at me though. I didn't do anything to him. I didn't block him. I didn't do anything like that.
You ruined a chance for a fight for the lead, though. Okay.
It's my interview. It's my interview. Be quiet. Anyways, but yeah, it was a good race. I enjoyed it. It was actually a lot of fun battling beer ups. We had
Yeah, it was good.
on straight, but I think that was just kind of a miscommunication. It was a good race. Like I said, I think I was like the 6th or 7th quickest car here today. So it was good to hear.
Yeah, congrats on P3. And as we move to Taylor Clan, which is probably the racing equivalent of pissed off Aaron Rodgers, if anybody watches football. So, yeah, Taylor, going from P15 to almost winning the race, were you mad, calm, or just extremely focused tonight?
First 10 laps, calm. Then pitted for my softs. Drove by people, listen, some of them were pretty hard battles, which I wish it wasn't, but yeah, wish I had a chance for a fight, but I had to do the 2 penalties in front of me.
All right, well, moving on to our race winner there, ABR Burraps. Fairly straightforward race from your end, I think, aside from a little bit of battling with Cookie there. Started from pole, really didn't have a whole lot going on, ended up behind your teammate on that first safety car restart, and then just basically Taylor got by on the softer tire, drove off in the distance. Did you think you were going to maybe get a shot at him at the end, or did you think he was pretty much going to drive away like that and leave you guys in the dust?
To be honest, I don't know, but I mean, he got extremely lucky with safety cars coming out at certain times. So, I mean, credit to him, I guess. Although his attitude is pretty in the gutter. But anyways, yeah, good performance overall for the team. We'll take the win any day. And yeah, Cookie, it was a good battle, man. That was a lot of fun. I know that the wing damage wasn't the best on my end, and probably made the battling a little bit more interesting. But overall, pretty happy with that.